We came, we saw, he died.
Have you heard about the sex slave scandal that put another woman on the Clinton body count list? Sabrina Bittencourt died on February 4th, 2019. This is her tale. Sabrina Bittencourt was found dead in her home in Barcelona. It was reported that she left a suicide note outlining her reasons, but it was not published. Although officially ruled a suicide, many believe that Sabrina was killed because of her work. Sabrina was an activist who uncovered a sex slave farm ring run by João Teixeira de Faria, which translates as John of God. He was a spiritual guru and miracle healer living in central Brazil, selling health and happiness. Over the course of 40 years, he built a cult that reached as far as Australia. He was famous for his psychic surgeries. These supernatural, invisible procedures were guided by the entity, something he described as a divine connection that allowed him to cure people. In reality, he would cut people open without anesthesia or jam forceps deep inside someone's nose. John of God wasn't a surgeon. He wasn't even a doctor. However, his big moment came when Oprah featured him on her show in 2010 for a series titled Do You Believe in Miracles? Just 4 years later, 60 Minutes Australia would feature him on their show as well and visit his compound. And if there's one thing to note about John of God, it's that his services came at a price. He would place people in crystal beds that cost $25 per visit. And that was believed to have earned John of God $1.8 million a year. You could get blessed by water in plastic bottles for $1, or blessed by herbal pills for $25 a bottle. Those pills generated an estimated $40,000 a day, or $14 million in 1 year. A doctor with 60 Minutes found the pills to be simply passion flower herbal supplements. John of God also held an event in Sydney that gathered around 6,000 people. A one-day ticket would run you nearly $300, where a full 3-day ticket would cost you nearly $800. But John of God's financial grift wasn't his biggest sin. Bittencourt collected testimonies from former cult members. She claims that John of God would find poor teenage girls and offer them money to go live in a mineral mine or farm that he owned in Brazil. These girls would become sex slaves and be forced to get pregnant. He would then sell their babies to the highest bidder. Bittencourt said, quote, "These girls were murdered after 10 years of giving birth." She received reports from at least 3 adoptive mothers in Europe, the United States, and Australia who said that they bought their babies for $20,000 to $50,000. The testimony that she collected not only came from victims, but ex-workers, former members, and local residents. Even John of God's daughter, João Teixeira, accused him of sexual assault. She claims that he raped her from the ages of 10 to 14 under the pretense of mystical treatments. After she became pregnant by one of her father's employees, he beat his daughter so severely that she suffered a miscarriage. As João said, quote, "My father is a monster." Before it was all over with, more than 600 women would go on to accuse John of God of rape. Once he heard a warrant was out for his arrest, he went on the run, allegedly withdrawing around $12 million. He was arrested a week later in December of 2018. Just a year later, he would receive his first conviction and would be sentenced to 19 years in prison for the rape of 4 women. His most recent conviction came in 2023 when he was sentenced to 118 years in prison. This ruling grouped a total of 17 cases together and included the rapes of 4 women. The judge also ordered him to pay the victims damages of up to $20,500. Bittencourt's investigation came with a lot of personal sacrifice. She was forced to flee Brazil and live under protection due to the death threats that she was receiving. While the official story is that she took her own life, those closest to her don't believe it. Bittencourt's first husband believes she is with their son in an unknown location. Meanwhile, other family members, who have chosen to remain anonymous, have provided proof of their failed attempts to get reliable information about Bittencourt's death. A reporter with The Intercept published an article called The Hunting of Sabrina Bittencourt's Body. That author contends that whether Bittencourt is alive or dead, it's harmful to write about it, saying, quote, "If her death is real, the lack of respect for the family's pain is insensitive, to say the least." If it is not, working to prove that this woman has forged her death so she can stay alive is to put her head back in the guillotine. Now, Bittencourt's oldest son, Gabriel Baum, announced her death on Facebook. He eerily posted, quote, "She took the last step so we could live. They killed my mother." But who could they be? Well, John of God had a celebrity following, like Oprah, Naomi Campbell, former Brazilian President Luiz Inácio da Silva, Brazilian footballer Ronaldo, singer Paul Simon, and you guessed it, Bill Clinton. It was rumored that Bill Clinton had visited John of God. In fact, on his website, John of God had posted that he had healed the former president. Given the vague details about Bittencourt's death and her invisible suicide note, combined with the fact that John of God knew the Clintons, many people have alleged that Bittencourt was just another victim in a long list of people who knew too much about something that she shouldn't have. What do you think? Was this suicide, or is this another mysterious death linked to the Clintons? I wear my tinfoil hat every day, but let me know what you think in the comments below. Now that you know where we've been, find out where we're going. Tune in to Ladies Love Politics, where you can stay informed without going insane.